Peace, love, and piece of cake. So I am Amina with Piece of Cake Enterprises here. Some of you may know us for Piece of Cake Conversations, where we try to take, not even try, where we take tough topics and make them sweet and easy. So tonight I wanted to do a really quick live, as I did one on Facebook, and then I realized like you keep engaging with people on Facebook and you're not really doing a good job of getting on YouTube and the other platforms so that you can maximize the impact. I will be honest, transparency moment here. I will be honest and say that one of the reasons I have struggled with getting onto some of the other platforms is recently it has become really trendy to work towards monetizing. I'm trying to say monetizing your social media presence. And for anybody who's able to do so, kudos and everything like that. But I really want to urge people, as we are in this digital era, definitely secure the bag, but make sure that you're not just producing content in a sense of things that you're putting out here in the world. Make sure that you're also working and striving towards being content within. And so for me, I am definitely working on myself and asking God to allow for me to be my best self before I jump up getting any major following or anything, and to help me to stay humble afterwards. I had someone share something, a quote with me years ago, as I was working on a play. So I was play by Intozaki Shange, and it was produced by Teresa Cox and Drama Lady Theater Group some years ago. And she told me, she says, Natalia, that's my other name, she says, make sure that you're not seduced or reduced by your audience. And I think that's very, very important for us all to take in, because sometimes we're aware that people are watching us, and it can create within us a little bit of an altar, or to bring out our ego a little bit more. And so I just want everyone to be mindful of your audience. Yes, be aware that they're there, but do not be seduced or reduced by your audience to the point where you start to act and do the most or do the least because you know other people are watching. Because there are some people who are they get very shy and timid when they know that there's somebody's watching them. Okay, so who am I? I went live a little while ago. I've just recently completed day 2 of the Grow Your Business Summit. And let me tell you, it has been phenomenal. I'm very grateful for the information that has been put out there. Very, very impactful. Today's summit workshop was about branding. And so when we talk about branding yourself, you end up realizing, like, before you can work on your brand, you have to have an identity. You have to have a clear, concise understanding as to who you are, as far as your product, your service, your business. And you have to have an understanding of how you're going to convey who you are. What is your message? What is it that you're going to put out into the world so that they understand clearly who you are? Who is your target audience? What is it that you're doing that makes you different than everybody else that's doing what it is that you're doing? Okay. And once you have a clear understanding as to your identity, you have a level of message. You need to be able to consistently put that message out. And that is one of the things that messes people up, is inconsistency. If you're not being consistent in promoting the same message, those inconsistencies in messaging will make you come across as fake, right? Counterfeit. People will not be able to know for sure who you are or what your brand is. And so they will not want to mess with you. It's going to leave uncertainty in their minds as far as a consumer. Or if you have a particular, group of friends or something like that, you're looking to brand yourself out here in the world. Well, when there's inconsistencies as to your actions, people are not going to be able to take you serious. They're going to choose to not deal with you because they can't trust you. There is a lack of fidelity there. And if you're not trustworthy because there's inconsistencies there, you're not reliable, then people will deal with you only as much as they need to. So for me, hearing that this evening about owning your identity really made me dig deep, really made me question who I am as an entrepreneur, but also who is my business. So my business is called Piece of Cake Enterprises. It has gone through a bunch of little changes. I just last year got my LLC and came to the realization that I needed to do enterprises as opposed to any other thing because, well, I knew it was no longer just about one thing. When I first started my business back in 2013, I was primarily looking to just be an entertainer. However, my interests changed as I continued to grow myself and get involved in the community. I became a community activist and I started realizing the importance of doing more than just entertaining ourselves. We have to also educate and empower. So, those are the three main focuses of Piece of Cake Enterprises. We strive to enrich the lives of families and the community through entertainment, education, and empowerment. And we say our slogan is we make your needs a piece of cake, one event at a time, one life event at a time. So that's a little bit about us, and I'm still critiquing it, like tweaking it and everything like that. I feel like I don't quite have it exactly, like I don't have an elevator pitch just yet. I don't. And I remember I've gone to many nonprofit conferences as I used to work in nonprofit arena, and that was something that we learned a lot about. As a nonprofit, you have to have an easily recognizable brand. For number one, you need to be able to tell a story. When people hear you, your name, your company's name, it should already, like, you should have a story, you should have a narrative, there should be some type of connection that is made on a level, especially if you're doing mission based work, where people understand who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And so I think a lot of people have heard the story of Apple. Apple is a very easily recognized brand. I was listening to a podcast with Simon Sinek years ago, and he began to break down like the genius behind Apple's branding. And Apple in particular is not just thought to be like a phone company. They're more so recognized as a brand for people who are of a certain, like, mindset almost. There are some people who, there's always going to be the bandwagon brand, havers, right? Those people who just like want the things because they see it as a status symbol. So they're going to want, certain names and things of that nature. They don't really even understand the functionality behind it. But for anybody who really truly buys into a brand because of the brand, they understand the integrity that that brand holds, right? And so as a person, I am also aware that I myself am a brand, like me as a person. We as people are a brand too. And our brand is our character, right? If you are a person of character and integrity, then people understand who you are, they know what you do, they understand the motives of why you do the things that you do, right? However, when you're a person of very iffy or shifty character, people, they recognize who you are. So there's this notoriety factor there. You're notorious. You may be well known, but people don't really understand the why of what you do. Or they label it as, that person's, they're weird, or they're just mean, they're gregarious, they're, despicable, whatever. And it's just like, do you really want to be tied to all of those type of terms? So it is very, very imperative that we get to know who we are, and then we honor that through consistency. So as an entrepreneur, I am this week definitely deep diving. And like I said, I have like my three main focus points. I have a little bit more clarity as to how I'm doing it. Like the entertainment portion of Piece of Cake, we provide event rentals, right? So we have inflatables, we have games, and we also provide event services. like face painting, character appearances, things of that nature. But beyond that, like, I've had people ask me about doing event decoration, and I'm like, that's not who I am. And it's really weird because people will want you to be what's convenient for them, right? But you have to know who you are. And I've had people say, oh, you can make so much money, there's a lot of money in event decorating. That's not who I am. Piece of Cake Entertainment is Piece of Cake Entertainment. So as I've grown more comfortable with myself, with what it is that I really truly am passionate about doing, I know that I'm not going to be passionate about decorating. Like, to me, the decoration is nice. Like, I love a good aesthetic. But for me, I much rather people have a good time than to have a good backdrop. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's about making the memories. I know the decorations make the memories pop, like it makes it look good. But I have literally been to parties where they've been so pretty and there's been absolutely nothing there to do other than look at the pretty decorations and try to have a conversation. And it's like slightly miserable. So, Piece of Cake Entertainment, we love making your entertainment needs easy. So, what I've also gotten into is making it easy from start to finish. My overall goal is to continue to attract customers who understand the value of having someone to plan, like schedule out the actual entertainment portion and like curate it. Like curate your entertainment experience. Not just come in and I do the face painting, but like literally host the party and control the flow of the activities. Like curating the whole event is just like so beautiful to me. It takes the stress and guesswork out of, okay, what are we doing next? Or are the kids already supposed to be on the bounce house? Because we also do inflatable rentals. Or do we need to go ahead and get ready to do the cake? Like, I really love the parties that I've been able to actually curate. They flow in a much better way. I get reviews back from the parents. They're letting me know like, oh my gosh, it was such a joy to have you there. I did not have to worry about the kids. They were well entertained. You had everything handled. Yes. And so I love that as I'm starting to know myself, I've been able to get a niche. And for me, entertainment which is curated, right, that's top tier. So if you're looking for entertainment in the South Carolina area, book Piece of Cake Entertainment. We will work with you months prior to the event to find out what your needs are, the number of guests that you'll be having, um, interest, so that we can customize and tailor the games and everything to fit the people that's going to be there. And we also like to, like, if it's a children's event, we also like to bring a couple extra games that the adults can play as well. So that everybody, gets some. It is fun until everybody gets some, right? All right. Now the other thing about knowing yourself, like, you have to be willing to say and reject the things that aren't you, right? And so, like I said, when I have people constantly trying to get me into the whole process of decorating, like, I've had to be okay. I've had to learn to be okay with, like, clearly rejecting the things that aren't me, like in a very positive, non-confrontational way, but just kind of saying, that's not my thing. I'm not going to claim that at all. So, who are you? What do you do? And then also make sure it's something that you do well. And if you're not doing it well, how do you do it well? Because tonight we talked about owning that identity, owning your identity. Well, if you're not really doing it well, is it fair for you to say that you do it? Like, whoa, like, it just made me feel some type of way when I really started to think about, like, the idea of, I understand speaking some things into existence, but at some point in time, we have to be realistic. And if you're not really doing anything other than just trying to speak those things into existence, if you're not putting forth consistent actions to grow yourself in those skills so that you can own that identity, well, you might as well don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it at all. Do not play with it. Okay. And so, the other thing about your identity, knowing what you do, like I said, being able to say, who you are, having a clear message, knowing what you do. But for me, the third thing is your why. Why you do what you do, your motives, your intentions. That to me is everything. So I have expanded Piece of Cake Enterprises, like I said, to be more than entertainment, because I know that in life there's so much more to life than just being entertaining. And my passion is also engaging families and children in meaningful ways where we can help them improve themselves, learn information, skill sharing, and empowerment. I'm really good at speaking, minus all these flubs, right? But I'm really good at speaking and sharing information. I've learned since I was younger, when I understand something, I've had like this natural knack of being able to break things down to other people on many different levels. And people are like, oh my goodness, the way that you broke it down, I understand. So, and I know that I'm not the only one. So, we all have a way to convey and share what it is that we know in really fun ways. And Piece of Cake, we like to come in, host workshops and different facilitation opportunities that we can help expand the education of people so that we can all like make our lives sweet and easy. That's what it's all about. And then the empowerment component of it all. I'm so excited. I'm overly speaking and low key, like I'm like sleepy. um, but also like that's really what it is. It's all about the empowerment component of it all is just being able to uplift. Like I've done a lot of different things in my life, and the times when you're lifting other people up is that's what it all like is about. Being able to like help someone else shine a light, um, give somebody else a lift, a boost, or even allowing for them to stand on your shoulders. Like that's a pretty amazing thing. Naima, what is it? That's a pretty amazing thing. So come here. The empowerment component of it is really, really near and dear to me. So I'm hungry. You have your food in there. Why aren't you eating your food? I'm hungry. Okay, you want to go back in there and eat your food? Yeah. Okay, go back in there and eat your food. You need to apologize to Ruby because she was asking you to be quiet and then you started trying to hit at her. I could hear the confrontation. All right. Now, I don't know if she actually hit you, but I know that you was hitting at her. I could hear you trying to hit her. You need to go back in there and eat your food. All right. Excuse the interruption. I have children. I'm not making any excuses or apologizing for having children. It's just a part of something that's going to happen when I'm live. So thank you all for staying tuned. And so yeah, the empowerment component of Piece of Cake Enterprises is something I'm very, very proud of because for me, it just solidifies the whole idea of generating an impact over just the income. And I don't know, I just really like get a little giddy as I talk about it. Cause in my head I'm just like one day I'm gonna be looking back at these old videos. Somebody else will be looking back at these old videos and they'll be realizing like, okay, yeah. I get told all the time that they can tell that I'm passionate when I'm out speaking in the community or whatever the case may be and working with people. People tell me oftentimes like I can tell you're passionate about this. And so yeah, I've been the person who's been down and in need of encouragement, who has not been very fulfilled, who also needed encouragement. Like I said, I don't need a hand out, I need a hand up. And so people are really truly searching for that. They're seeking for that. People want to be able to operate with each other and get products and services that also allow for them to have some sense of dignity. I think we all too often, for people who work in spaces where we are providing products and services, sometimes we disconnect and we're not fully engaging with people in a manner where we're humanizing them. Sometimes we look at them too much like a consumer. And for me, it's very important for me to serve the whole person, right? And to always remember that these are people. Everyone, they're people, not just a consumer. They're not just another metric. They're not just another like, or whatever the case may be. So I really truly take it to heart to be able to engage with people through the piece of cake conversations, through the workshops, doing that, one-to-one work with them, being able to empower and educate. Because, like I said, I've been in that boat. You know, we all have, if we're being honest, we all have found ourselves at times in need of encouragement. And so it is just like very humbling for me to be able to be light, to be light. Um, so yeah, who am I? So who am I as a person? I am Amina, which means trustworthy. Amina McLeod. My nickname is Cupcake. I am the owner, CEO, and founder of Piece of Cake Enterprises. We are a multifaceted company that is committed to enriching the lives of families through entertainment, through education, and empowerment services. I look forward to working with you all. Like I said, I am a civic entrepreneur. So, civic entrepreneurs are a little bit different than regular entrepreneurs. We are committed to positively impacting our community, working with other agencies and entrepreneurs in collaborative ways so that we can pool resources and improve our community. That's really what it's all about. And we are highly invested in sustainable efforts within our community outreach and things of that nature. So I look forward to seeing who I am becoming. That's been a big thing. 10 years ago is when I started this company. I got sidetracked a couple of times, but now as I find myself really honing in and focusing and working more deliberately and intentionally and consistently, I really love who I am becoming, but also what's becoming of my company. And I look forward to it expanding and growing, because expansion and growth means more impact. And yeah, I'm hoping that, eventually this will be something that's so bigger than, like, way bigger than me. The piece of cake conversations alone, I really truly, like, I visualize it sometimes and I'm just like, okay, podcast and, like I said, skills. I don't know why I keep saying that backwards. Skill sharing, that really does enable for people to live a life that is sweeter and easier. Like, can you imagine people going through life and being able to say, oh, there's a podcast about XYZ, and now these things are a little bit more relatable. And so instead of people having anxiety about whatever the case may be, whatever topic or subject that you can insert here, right? There will be someone who has spoken about that same thing on our podcast, and it shed light on that particular subject in such a way where it made it relatable. And now people are handling that subject, the other persons, with care. Because the miscommunication is causing a lot of the social and societal ills. It really is. It's not really like these things are so terrible. Like, it's not the guns, it's us, the people. We need to control ourselves. We can keep lobbying for gun control. We can keep lobbying for more strict laws regarding, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, until we as people learn how to, control ourselves, gain a greater insight as to how certain things do impact other people, when you have a limited perspective, you will cry and rally for something that you think fits your needs because you're insensitive or unaware of the needs of other people. But when we start sharing our perspectives through conversations, it opens up the doors for us to have a greater understanding, so that now when we're in an opportunity to make decisions about certain things, we say, well, this is my personal beliefs, but I also know that, these particular people will be impacted by this. And so we might need to think about this from a different point. you know I just really truly envision piece of cake conversations being a life changing thing for the lives of so many people, a community changing thing, a society changing thing, because it's going to enable much needed discourse and dialogue around a myriad of topics and subjects so that we can all share our perspectives, share different skills, different techniques that's going to like make things easier for other people. And then empowerment, I am looking forward to attending so many more empowerment events, not just as a speaker, but as an attendee. If y'all know of any conferences taking place anytime this year, share them with me. I definitely want to get out here and start traveling to some more conferences. Prior to COVID, when I was working in nonprofit, I got a chance to travel a little bit and attend different conferences in different places. And let me just tell you, that is really truly the life. Like attending different conferences, going somewhere different, being in a different environment, being surrounded by like-minded people, or maybe not, because I want to go to different conferences, even some of the stuff that I'm not really truly fully aware of, because getting out of my comfort zone and being able to expand, right? I would love to continue to grow. I have a growth mindset. I would love to continue to grow, go and grow and learn new and different things, meet new people, learn, build my experiences, share my experiences with others. And like it just seeing the world, the earth. Oh my god, I seen earlier today I was watching ETV and they were showing a documentary Two on the Road, and they were in Namibia, and I was like, oh my god, I remember like there's a couple of countries in Africa that I definitely want to go to. Namibia is one of them, and there's a country called Mozambique. I want to go to Mozambique. Oh my gosh, there's so many of them. The Gambia, Ghana, Sierra Leone, um, Tanzania. I had some residents that used to live at the apartment complex. Burundi, there. I don't know if that's actually. I don't think that's a country, but there was a community of people. The Burundi people. I just want to travel. Yeah. So share, drop the info below in the comments and let me know any conferences that you all are attending. But yeah, also share who you are. Quick, brief, couple of sentences of who you are. And then also, how did you discover who you are? What was a major, like, component of you discovering yourself? All right. And yeah, I know one book that really truly helped me a lot. There's a book called The Invitation by Uriah Mountain, and that book helped me out tremendously. I need to go back and revisit it. But this is the reason why. In that book, Uriah helps you to understand this concept of almost like emptying yourself out. So by emptying yourself out and kind of just letting go of all the identities that you had before is how you find your true self. And that for me was very critical because at the time when I read the book, I was just starting to realize that I had a toxic level of identity, like self identity, to the point where I was finding myself a little bit, and it wasn't even really me. It was motivated by other people telling me, like, oh, this person's trying to be you. So I had like this little toxic energy about me where I found myself being bothered by other people having similarities as me because it felt like it was them infringing upon my identity when in fact it was nothing but that person being themselves. And that was really very egotistical. So that book helped me to realize that, and it made me just realize like you are you regardless. You don't even have to do anything to make yourself be unique. You're unique because that's the way you were created. And just lean into that. And if somebody else has any similarities close to you, then celebrate that. Like that means that you more than likely attracted them into your life because y'all on the same vibe, you're on the same frequency. And if not, then just appreciate who you are. Stop focusing on other people's identity. Focus on building your character. But as an entrepreneur, definitely continue to do the work and find out who you are, who is your company, what you do, and your why. So that is all for tonight. Peace, love, and piece of cake. Mwah.